Okay, very good afternoon to all of you. Yesterday we already discussed about the basics of database management system. Some of the part we already discussed, that is the introductory part with applications, basics of database management system, unit of database management system, mainly the application areas, enterprise solutions, all that things. And we also discussed about our syllabus plan, that how many modules are there and how can we are going to cover all that thing. Okay, so my basic concern is that when you are viewing my video, make it in high resolution, means check the quality, and your quality should be at least 480 pixel so that you can view it in proper way. Okay, so today we are going to discuss about the level of abstraction. Level of abstraction means, here the level of abstraction means the data abstraction. So what is the meaning of the data abstraction? So basically the data abstraction meaning is that how data items are connected to each other and all the stakeholder, means from the administrator level to the user level, as well as any intermediary level if it is there, or with the backend logical end, how the data are connected and data are correlated with each other. So that thing should be covered in today's session. Okay, so before that we are focusing on some other part, that is the database management architecture. Okay, so why database management architecture is required? Basically database management system architecture will help. Yes, hope now I am properly connected. Actually there is some network glitches there. Okay, so in database management architecture, basically we are going to focus on the user level, means how many computers are connected to the database administrator or the database system through different devices. Okay, basically three tier of architecture is there: single tier architecture, two tier architecture, and three tier architecture. So in single tier architecture, if you see the single tier architecture, you can see that thing here. In this type of architecture, no separate network connection are required. Okay, we don't require any separate type of internet connections for that purpose. Okay, here the user is directly, means the user computer is directly connected with the database computer or the system admin computer through some direct link. Meaning is that if your computer is connected to a database through the LAN cable or through the some Wi-Fi medium through router, that is the technique. Basically here no physical internet connections are required. Here the particular database management system is connected itself with the database administrator. For example, whenever you are fetching some data from some ERP portal, then you need not to connect with any other network to fetch the data. Means in your own system or in your own mobile devices, the whole record is available through some user ID and password mode. That is the main thing here. Here network means the network connection. Meaning is that whatever database are present in your mobile devices, you may see these databases without any kind of network connection. For example, that in your computer or in your mobile devices, some drives are there, some file organization are there. You can view this particular file or you can play the particular audio file without any kind of hindrance. That is a consideration of single tier architecture. Okay, so in single tier architecture, your computer directly fetch the data from the database without any network connection. So that is the very common type. Next very important type is the two tier connection. Two tier connection is basically, that is the example of two tier connection. That is the example of two tier connection. In two tier connection, you need some kind of a network connection. Meaning is that in first your client machine is required, means your mobile devices or your system. So in system devices, you need to connect with the other database that is pointed in some other server location. For example, if I take some example that if you want to fetch some Aadhaar card database, Government of India Aadhaar project is there. If you want to fetch the Aadhaar database, so to fetch the Aadhaar database means if you want to check your biometric details or to check your mobile number, email ID or whatever, so for that purpose first you need to visit the Aadhaar website or the Aadhaar application that is installed in your mobile, and in this application you put your user ID or password or some kind of OTP for that purposes. So here the database user meaning is that, the customer, and the database application meaning is that you are going to put your credential in Aadhaar website. This particular website is act as database application client end. This particular Aadhaar website is act as database application client end. In this particular website, when you put your credential, this credential is first checked through some logical or mathematical function. If it is perfectly okay, then the request is transmitted to the database server that may be located in some other location or in some central data station through some network connection that is maybe wired or that is maybe wireless, and through this network connection you may fetch your data from the database system that is located in another server. So this is the example of the two-tier architecture. Means here in two-tier architecture you need some kind of a direct internet connection, or sometime you may require some network connection. Meaning is that, for example, if we are taking some easy example, that for example that in your university from one building, if you want to fetch some centralized data information that is located in the server room in the main building, then you need some kind of internet connection or network connection for that. So this kind of database application is considered as the two-tier architecture. Here two tier is maintained, one is client end and another one is server. Next we are focusing on the three-tier architecture. So in two-tier architecture, one thing is very important. If you see this particular document and if you read this document, that whenever client machine makes a request to access the database present at the server using a query language like SQL, the server performs the request on the database and return the result back to the client. The meaning is that, for example, whenever you are fetching some data from some other server, for example, like Aadhaar database, if you are put your user ID, password or OTP in Aadhaar application or Aadhaar app, after cross-checking or validation, you will get some information in your mobile messages or in your display screen that is the resultant. But here in database, the things is quite different. Different in the sense, in our real world, the data, whatever the data is particularly on fragmented way. Fragmented way means data are in your server or in your other storage, data is not stored in haphazard way. Meaning is that data must be stored in some meaningful way. That data must have some kind of a fields, means a record. For example, whenever you are taking the student record, that is saved in your Excel file with some specific rules, that in first column name should be there, in second column surname should be there, in third column mobile number should be there, in fourth column your city information should be there, like that. So when we are store our data in server database, we put our data in some particular format like the Excel, means data is stored in some categorized way. So here whenever you want to fetch the data using some query in the sense, whenever you are request for the data, you need some specific type of language to fetch the data in some meaningful way. Means you can't send a message to your command prompt that I need this particular data. That is not a proper way. Meaning is that to grant your request, to update your request, to show your request, we need some special type of a programming language that is useful for this data handling purposes, and this particular language name is SQL or structured query language. Okay, you may note down the full form. SQL, that is a structured query language, means how your query is processed to the server and how server react to this query, and depend on this query how your data should be displayed to you. That thing should be controlled by this kind of programming language, that is considered as the SQL or structured query language. So in client machine you need a SQL platform, and in this SQL platform you put your data request in some meaningful way. For example, like that insert a line in table, for example ABC, means your command that must be in some appropriate way, otherwise you can't fetch the data. Okay, that is the first thing. And another thing is that whenever you are putting your request in your own PC or in your own mobile devices, okay, means SQL is installed in your devices, and at the server end SQL master version is already installed. Okay, means that is considered as the backend. So you need some connectivity mechanism. Connectivity mechanism in the sense, sir, you can say that thing that you already says that network connection is required or some kind of internet connection is required. Yes, we know that thing, but that is for the physical medium. That is for the physical medium, because through the LAN cable or through the network connection, whenever we are transmitting the data can be in any form, but at the binary level the data stream is only the combination of 0 and 1. We already know that thing, that whenever data is transmitted at the physical level, the data is transmitted at the unit base, meaning is that whatever, maybe you are sending a image to your friend, maybe you are sending a sound file to your friend, maybe you are sending a emoji to your friend, maybe you are sending a document to your friend. Okay, but whenever you can see that thing, maybe in your terminal it's looking like some graphical application, but at the core end, whenever data is transmitted to the other end, it is a combination of 0 and 1 only, because we know that thing, the whole computer recognize only two things, that is 0 and 1, or the combination of 0 and 1. So meaning is that maybe SQL is installed in your terminal, and maybe the SQL version is installed in server terminal, and you are connected to a LAN cable, that is the physical medium, but for the logical purpose you need some connectivity software, or you need some connectivity mechanisms, and that is considered as some kind of connective applications, that is considered as the JDBC or ODBC. Okay, so JDBC or ODBC is the application connection interface. You may consider it's an interface. Through this interface you can process your query to the server end. So JDBC, ODBC is very common in Java. Okay, this is the two-tier architecture. Now we are focusing on the very important concept, that is the three-tier architecture. Three-tier architecture meaning is that if you see the first category, that in here client and server both required. In client side no changes are there. In client side no changes are there. Means in client side you need some DBMS application, that is maybe considered as the SQL, and in SQL you are putting your query as a database user. Okay, database user means you are the database user, you are putting some query in the SQL. So here SQL is considered as the database application at the client end. Very good. Now your computer is connected, or your mobile devices is connected to the server through some wired connection or through some wireless connection. Okay, now at the server end the changes is there in two-tier architecture. At the server machine, if you see the previous example, at the server machine at two-tier architecture only database system is there. Here the thing is that at three-tier architecture in server machine two components are there. First one is the server DBMS application, and next one is the database system. Meaning is that here whenever you are putting your query in SQL as a database application at user level, same kind of software, maybe that is SQL, maybe that is Firebase, maybe that is any other kind of a database application software is installed at the server end, means to fetch the query and properly categorize the query, that which segment of the data is requested by this type of query. Meaning is that now we are putting some extra burden on the server computer with server DBMS application to check that what type of query are requested and what type of data fragmentation should be displayed. Okay, so depend on that thing, the particular database system is connected with this database application. Means here, through this request, through the customer request, you can't directly fetch the database system in as it is format. Meaning is that in as it is format, you can't fetch the database system directly. Your query is also processed through the server database application. Means some different kind of software may be installed there, like the Firebase, and it's processed your request, and depend on that thing, you may be fetched only the part of your database system as a fragmented data. So that is the difference between the two-tier architecture and the three-tier architecture. That is a very important question for your exam or maybe in your interview, that what is the logical difference between the two-tier architecture and the three-tier architecture. Because in two-tier and three-tier, in both architecture, that is the concept of the client-server computing. Means client are connected with the server. But in two-tier architecture, sometimes we no need any kind of database applications directly. But in three-tier architecture, we directly need one database applications. Okay. So these are the example of the three-tier architecture. If you read out this, then you can see that thing, that in three-tier architecture, another layer, that is the server database application, that is added to the server side. Okay, for large enterprise, basically for large enterprise, for global database, we are using this kind of a thing. Okay, basically for global database, we are using this kind of a thing. For example, that banking database is an example, that in banking database there are various types of data located. Okay, whenever you are requested some data through the internet banking, then maybe you are getting some fragmented part of the data. Whenever you are requested the same type of data through the mobile banking, then maybe you are getting some part of the data. Whenever you are requesting the data through some mobile applications, then maybe you are getting some different view of the data. Got my point? Meaning is that whenever you are SBI, lots of people have a SBI account. If you are checking your SBI account details through the SBI internet banking, then you are getting some different kind of a view. And maximum of the functionalities like the transaction management, e-statement, any other kind of a details, mobile banking, ATM card details, lots of services are available. Whenever you are fetching your SBI account credential details through the YONO application, then maybe you are getting some limited functionalities. And whenever you are just fetching your SBI account data through the mobile banking operation or normal SMS banking operation or WhatsApp banking operation, then maybe you are getting some limited functionalities. So my concern is that here. Means here the database application rule is that what type of query you are sending to the database, that is categorized through the server database application and that is processed accordingly. Okay, got my differences, I think. So here now next is the level of the architecture. Okay, so here the database management system is 3-level architecture. Basically 3 level is there, that is for the logical designing. Basically 3 level is there. First one is the external level. External level meaning is that user level. Sometimes it's considered as a user level. External level or user level means we are. So here in external level, lots of users are connected to the main database using the conceptual level and the internal level. Now we are going to discuss, means here is the level architecture. Okay, that is the database architecture depend on the level. Basically total 4 level are there, total 3 level are there, that is connected to the actual database. Outer side is external level, then is conceptual level, and next one is the internal level. Okay, now we are going to discuss each and every segment. First check this diagram, that is external level, or sometimes it's considered as user level. Next one is conceptual, next one is internal, then it's database. Now we are going to discuss 3 level, that is external, conceptual and internal. So in external level, sometimes the external level is considered as the user level or it may be considered as the view level. Okay. So what is the reason? The reason behind to call this as a view level, because for example, I am taking some very easy example. For example, that all the students have a class database. Class database meaning is that probably one of your teacher, assume that me, design a student database of your section, that in your section all the students are there, students name, roll number, mobile number, surname, seat information, some maybe other information, create on a Excel file, normal Excel file, and keep this Excel file on your classroom computer. Got my point? I create a document and kept this document in your classroom system or classroom computer. Okay, and this computer have some Wi-Fi connection. Wi-Fi connection in the sense this computer have internet, maybe that is internet connection or without internet, but it have some LAN card, that is Wi-Fi. Very good. Now you are near about 100 students or 80 students in a section, so all of you are connected to this computer using this Wi-Fi module from your mobile. Now you are requested for the data. Requested for the data in the sense, one of your student check that in this document 100 student details are there. I want to fetch the top 10 student details only. So from this Excel file, he just put a filter, and using this filter he or she may take the view of the top 10 students, that is dependent on the marks. Very good. Another students is consider that I want to see the students whose date of year is, for example, 1993 or 1995 or 1997, for example. Okay. Some other students are on the same database or on the same data file. Some of the students requested that we need this particular student's name who are belongs from the city Kolkata only. Okay. So meaning is that in a common data set, each of the individual students are requesting different view, like Google document. More specific example is Google document. That one Google document is shared to all of you, and this particular document is stored in Google Cloud, and from this Google Cloud document, the document is as it is formatted. There is no changes. You are just taking view from this document, depend on your own customization, and after that you can download that thing separately. Whenever you will download this particular file, depend on the top 10 students, you can't claim that thing, this particular file or this particular data is as it is stored in the server database. No, never. Whatever you are download from the Google Cloud, that is the replica of the original data only. That is the replica of the original data only. Means you download this particular data or you download your customized data from a particular fixed data set that can't be changed by yourself. Okay, so here this kind of individual replica is considered as the view of the data. Means one data set maybe have some different kind of view to different user, depend on different customization. Got my point? So that's why we consider the external label as user label or the view label. Means on a same data set we may request for different view. Okay. Those who send me the query, one of your students send me the query, sir, kindly explain it again. Yes, surely I will explain it again, but before that kindly send your name, roll number and section please. Okay, yesterday means in previous classes I already mentioned that thing, that whenever you are send me some query, kindly send me your name, roll number and section, so that when I am answering to you I can say your name also. Okay, that is very easy for me. Okay, so one is requested that sir kindly explain the external label once again. External label means the view label or the user label. Means one single data set is present in cloud, and from this data set different user may be getting different view of the data, depend on the different customization. Okay, Rajrupa Dash from section G. Yes, Rajrupa. Means from a single data set different students are getting the view, depend on the customization. For example, one Google document is shared to you in Google database to your class. Maybe you are requested that from this particular Excel file, what is the top 10 students result. You download only that portion. Another student download that please fetch the details of the students who are belongs from the Kolkata only. Okay, like that. Okay, means different students are request the data, that is depend on different customization or their own prediction. But whenever you are downloading the data from a source, you can't claim that thing that whatever data I am download in as it is format data is stored on the database. Obviously not. You download the replica of the data or view of the data or some part of the data or some segment of the data only. Original data file is just stored on the main database. If you want to download the whole database, that is also permissible. But whenever you are just fetching some part of the data and downloading the data, you can't claim that thing. The data is downloaded in as it is format from the database. Got my point? So here that is considered as the external level or the view level. Now we are focusing, sometimes it may be considered as the top level as well. Top level, user level, view level, external level, all four are same thing. Next one is the conceptual level. Conceptual level is sometimes considered as the logical level. I hope that Rajrupa you understand my point. Okay. So here the conceptual level is considered as the logical level. Logical level meaning is that the whole design of the database, such as the relationship among the data and schema of the data, are described in this level. Database constraint and security are also implemented in this level, and that is managed by the DBM. So what is the meaning of that? The conceptual level meaning is that, for example, whenever you are that in a single Excel file, if you see in a single Excel file, probably the first column is your name, second column is your, for example, surname, and what is the data type of your surname and name? The data type may be character. Very good. Next is your roll number. What is the data type? And data type is simply integer values. Next one is your phone number, and what is the data type? Data type is integer values. Okay. Next one is probably your for example some other information. Okay, that is maybe alphanumeric. So here the logical level part is that whenever you are requested for a particular data, in logical level we are checking the query. In logical level basically we are checking the query, we are checking the relationship of the data. Meaning is that which data you are requested, what is the type of the data. Means you are requested integer type of the data, or you are requested some character type of the data, or you are requested some alphanumeric kind of the data. Okay, means here the relationship among the data is basically checked. Through the query in logical level, actually what type of data you are requested, the relationship among the data, that is checked. Meaning is that in a single Excel file all this information are there, but when you are requested that we need the data of top 10 student, that is depend on the marks. Meaning is that your computer is focusing, basically your computer or the server end is focusing on the marks column only. Means from the whole database we are focusing on a specific part, that is the marks column, and that thing should be controlled at the logical level. Means what type of data you are requested, which fragment of the data you are requested, and what is the relationship of the data with the other items. So that is the logical concepts, and these concepts are cleared here in the conceptual level or in the logical level only. So user have no role in this part. Got my point? User have no role in this part. Our computer brain means here the processor is taking care of that thing. Depend on your query, which fragment of the data you are requested, what types of the data you are requested, and what is the schema of your data. Means what is the output types of your data. Okay, so that thing is controlled here by basically by the database administrator using some command, but the whole task is completed by the computer brain, means processor. Next one is our internal level. So internal level means that is the actual physical level. No role of database administrator or no role of user is there. Got my point? The level is considered as the physical level, means the physical data type, means the physical format of the data is stored in the server database. In server database, maybe long size of hard drive are there, maybe some hard drive tape is there, some magnetic kind of a tape. Like example is data center. In data center, lots of hard disks are connected to the server using some magnetic disk or magnetic tape. Okay, so in this magnetic disk or magnetic tape, in which part, if I give you an example, for example, if I give you a hard drive, just take my example. If I am giving you the hard drive, means the computer hard drive. Within this computer hard drive, if you open this your computer hard drive using some screw or jack, then within this hard drive you will get a magnetic disk, a thick magnetic disk. In this magnet, it's looking like your compact disk or CD drive. It's looking like your compact disk or CD drive. So in this magnetic disk, if I say that in your computer you have total 5 drive, A drive, B drive, C drive, D drive and E drive. Now in this magnetic disk, identify which one is the C drive, which one is the A drive and which one is the B drive. Obviously, you give me the answer, no sir, it's not possible from my end. Yes, it's obviously, because at the physical level no one have the role, means in this cylindrical disk or in this data drive or in this magnetic drive or in this pen drive or thumb drive, in which location data is stored, we have no control on that part, nor from the user side, nor from the server administrator or the database administrator side. We only get the page number, or sometimes we get only the sequence number, that in particular in this sequence data is loaded in this hard drive. So here the internal level meaning is the physical level of the data in whole database at particular position, different type of or different kind of data is put it. Okay, so this level describe how the data is actually stored in the storage devices, means in actual storage devices how data are saved. So this particular level is responsible for allocating the space for the data. Okay, means whenever you are putting data on a particular drive, computer automatically creates some space for this data in this magnetic disk and data is stored. You only get the sequence number or the particular position number only, but not the actual position. Okay, this is the lowest level of the architecture. Lowest level obviously it is considered as the lowest level of the architecture that is connected to the computer brain or the processor only. Okay, so these are the example of the internal level, external level and the conceptual level. So now my question is that if anyone have any query regarding these three, you may ask your query, I will surely explain to you. Okay, so after the internal level, next these are the concept about the database architecture. Total 3-tier architecture is there, single tier, 2-tier, 3-tier, and next one is the database level. In our database 3 level are there, external, conceptual and internal. Now we back to our PowerPoint presentation. Now I am checking your question, that what question you are sending to me. Okay. So first Gaurav from section D, roll number 23. Gaurav from section D, roll number 23. So Gaurav, you are asking that, sir, kindly explain the schema of the data once again. Sir, while storing the data in internal level constraint and security automatically implemented by DBA or has to implement it manually? Yes, very good question. Database administrator role is ended at the conceptual level. So in conceptual level, all the security aspects is implemented by the database administrator, and this kind of security is automatically maintained at the conceptual level only. In physical level, there is no need any kind of a security. There is no need any kind of a security. Means in conceptual level, whatever data you are going to store in the physical level, at the conceptual level, if you put some security mechanism, data is converted in this particular mechanism and saved in this format. I am just giving you an example. You know the concepts about the SSL 128-bit security. If you know the concept about the SSL 128-bit security, meaning is that secure socket layer 128-bit. Meaning is that whenever you are using the internet banking, just hope the example. Whenever you are using the internet banking, you are putting your user ID and you are putting your password, and this user ID and password directly hit to the database, server database, and the validation is checked, and after that if it is perfectly okay, then you can get the view of your account. Now if you understand, some students have some misconception that this particular username and password is saved in as it is format in the server database. Obviously not. If it is saved in as it is format in the server database, then any other person can hack or crack that thing. So the concept is that whatever data you are putting at your database application or at your user application side or in conceptual level, this particular data is converted using some security mechanism, that is 128-bit SSL, and then it's generate a sequence, and this particular sequence is checked to the server side. Okay, and this thing is rolling automatically using some randomized method. For example, that if you are putting my name as user ID SANDIP, so when I am putting my user ID as SANDIP, this SANDIP may be generate a 32-bit sequence at today, and next day whenever you are log into the internet banking using the same user ID, maybe it is generated 32-bit sequence, but the sequence type or the sequence is different. Got my point? Maybe the sequence type or the sequence is different. Okay, so meaning is that whatever security you are going to implement at the database, so this kind of security application is implemented at the conceptual level only. At the physical level, there is no need of any kind of security. We need to protect it from any physical hamper. Physical hamper in the sense, if someone is entering into your server room and break your disk, so that is the loss of the complete of the data. You need only this kind of physical security. No need of logical security is there at the physical level. Any type of security is implemented at the conceptual level only. Got my point, Gaurav? And you are asking another thing, that sir, may explain the schema of the data once again. Schema of the data means that data type. We are going to discuss all that things in second module. Okay, schema, validation, lots of things are there. So here the schema of the data means what is the type of the data. Is this integer type of a data, character type of a data, alphanumeric type of a data, what is the size or the length, what is the size or the length of the data, these things is there. Okay, so I hope that you understand my point, Gaurav. Thank you. Next query, Aditya from section B. Please explain 3-tier system. Aditya, I already explained the 3-tier system. Basically in 3-tier and 2-tier system, before that I am just send you the quiz link so that other student can go for the quiz link. Okay, for today our regular session is ended here. You now just complete the quiz. I am opening the quiz link. After that I am giving you the query. 1 minute. So students, complete your quiz before 2 p.m. otherwise it will be closed. Okay. So Aditya, 3-tier, basically in 3-tier system, basically in 2-tier and 3-tier system, the main difference is that in 2-tier system, user directly fetch the data from the database without any other channel. Means you just hit the server database using your user ID and password only. Okay, got it. And in 3-tier architecture, another level or another layer is put it in front of the main database. Means whenever you are sending your user ID and your password to the server computer side, so then in server computer sides it's check the validation that which particular fragment of the data you are requested. So that thing is controlled in 3-tier architecture. In 2-tier architecture and 3-tier architecture, basically there is minor differences. In 2-tier architecture, you have no control on the whole database. User can check the whole database anytime. But in 3-tier architecture, you can control that thing depend on the query. Means whatever query are requested from the user side, depend on this mechanism, you are added a server database application that it first check that which fragment of the data you are requested from the whole database. It obviously saves your time, it obviously saves your overhead. Got my point? Means if I am saying you that I just give you total 10 books, I just give you total 10 books, and in these 10 books you need only one. So every time it's not required to give you 10 books every time. Got my point? Means whenever you are requested for books, obviously I don't send you 10 books every time. So depending on your query, I will check that thing, that which part of the books you are required, and I will set only that part. That is the basically difference between the 2-layer and the 3-layer. Okay. Hope you understand, Aditya. Next query is from the sir, basically physical level, that is from Rajrupa. Yes, Rajrupa. So basically physical level store the data, conceptual level is the link between the user and the machine server. Yes, physical level is basically physical level obviously store the data, and the conceptual level is link between the user and the machine or the server, like the brain of the entire system. Yes, obviously. In physical level we have a no role. Conceptual level is just linking the external level and the physical level. Okay, conceptual level is just linking the external level and the internal level. So in conceptual level, the category is just maintained, the logical thing is just checked, nothing other than that. Okay, in physical level we have no role, even database administrator have no role about that thing. Okay, I hope that you understand, Raju. Any other query? No. Sir, could you just send, that is from Priyanka Shikdar, section A. Sir, could you just send the PPT in our Telegram group? Yes, yesterday I already sent the PPT. You may check that thing. I already shared the PPT and the syllabus of the first lecture. Okay, today I will surely send that thing. Yes, okay. And no more queries are there. Hope that all of you enjoy the session. Okay, now you complete your quiz within your mentioned timeline, and after the class I will surely send this slides, PPT or PowerPoint presentation. And in the meantime, I have one announcement that please don't miss any lecture. Please don't miss any lecture session. If you miss any lecture session, it will be very tough to understand the next thing. Okay, please don't miss any lecture. Okay. So no more queries, so I am breaking the session here. Okay, you complete your quiz within 2 p.m. After that the link will be closed. Okay, thank you. One more query is at the end, that is from what is schema? I don't know who sent me the question. Schema meaning is that the type of the data. Here the schema meaning, we are going to discuss the schema in second module, in third module in brief part. Here the schema meaning is that what is the type of your data, what type of data you are using, and how your data is interrelated to the other data. Got my point? Meaning is that if your name is a character type of a data, your surname is character type of a data, how this character type of data are interlinked with any other integer kind of a data. Okay, so means the relationship. Here the schema meaning is that what is the relationship between the data sets, that is only. Here schema meaning is that the relationship between the different kind of data, that is considered as the schema. Okay, so next time whenever you are posting me the query, kindly send your name and section please. So no more queries are there, so I am going to break the session here. Okay, so complete your quiz before 2 p.m. and hope you enjoy the session, and we will meet tomorrow at 1:10 p.m. again. Thank you.